So there are assignments for that. So in the first assignment block, there's actually a set of assignments that you could just go through and do them and see how far you get. But so first I think we do it this way, that first I show you like the basic functionality of the viewer and you watch and see. And then when I've shown you this to you, you then work through this assignment yourself and you ask for help if you get stuck somewhere. So let's open MaxQuant and load one of these processed data sets. So we take now this label-free data set, load parameters. Where is it? Desktop. USB. So you have to load here the MQPAR file of the project. And so there it is. And then since the folder of the raw files is not where it is now located on the disk, one has to adapt the folder. So one has to select all of the raw files and then change folder and then put here the actual folder where the data resides. Where is it? Desktop. That's this one. Okay, and then you see it's. Speak louder? Yeah, I can hear it. Okay, and then you see everything is true here now, so the file exists, so that means you have the correct folders here. So it's probably better to watch now, and then when I'm finished, to start with the exercises. So now the files are properly loaded, so we can now switch to the viewer. Maybe we go to full screen. And then you see a couple of things here. So you see here on the right side, you see the result table. So these are exactly the same tables as you also get in the text folder. So all the result tables are written into the text folder in the combined folder of the MaxQuant project. And all of these tables you also see here. So for example, if you go to identification, so there's the protein groups table, peptide table, modification peptide table, and so on and so forth. And these are all linked to the display items in the viewer. Yeah, you have to stop talking actually. So I suggest that you don't do the exercise now, so you also don't need to be worried about if you miss something or something, and you can just listen to what I'm doing here, basically. So, as I said, on the right, you have all the tables. On the left, you have the map view of the LCMS run, and in the middle, you have a bunch of viewers in these tab controls, and by choosing the appropriate tab, you get the view that you want to the data table. So let's maybe start with the map view here. So this is the LCMS run with the masses on the horizontal axis and the retention time on the vertical axis, and then the intensity is color-coded here, right? And so this has like the usual zoom, move, whatever, select functionalities that you would expect from a map view, basically. So the simplest is you can zoom in, like with the drag rectangle here, then you would go into this region. So it takes a little bit. Yeah, so now we zoomed in a little bit. And so there are actually 4 modes. So there's a zoom mode. So we are in the zoom mode now. There's a move mode. There's a select mode. And there is a define window mode, right? So now we were in the zoom mode. So maybe we switch on a few more features. So for example, we can switch on these peak boundaries here with this drop-down menu. So now you see all the multiplets that, or isotope patterns in this label-free case that were detected. So if you zoom in a little bit more, yeah, then you see these typical isotope patterns that MaxQuant detects. Like this. So there are more features that you can add to the map, like, for example, the places where MSMS were made, with this button here. And then, so if, let's zoom out again, maybe completely. So now we are in full zoom again, and you see now all the MSMS that were taken, and then it's color-coded and also distinguished by the symbol if it was identified or not identified. And yeah, so for example, one can also select these points, and then one would have to go here to the selection mode. So that was zoom mode, move mode, here is select mode. And then you could, for example, select this guy here. Now it's selected, and you would see the particular spectrum, the annotated spectrum of this MSMS then here in the MSMS spectra view. So, okay, what else can you do? So you can also get to an MSMS spectrum from the tables. So, for example, if you know that by searching for a particular scan number or for any property that a certain MSMS spectrum is interesting, so it would be selected here. And then if you say display selected spectrum, then this particular MSMS spectrum is viewed here in the middle. Like this. So you can also zap through them if you want. And yeah, what you see in the window beneath here, and it's better visible if you make it a bit bigger, is then the sequence of the identified peptide with the Y and B that were found indicated. Okay, so what else do we want to do? For example, yeah, so let's zoom in again here in the map view. Oh, that was a mistake because we are still in the select mode. So let's go to the zoom mode, zoom in somewhere. Maybe here in this area. And now we can also show the MSMS or the MS spectrum at a particular position in the retention time. So there's this zebra kind of pattern here, where you can click on scans, and then you see the particular MS1 scan here on this side. Right? I think it should also be possible to run through them with the up-down key button. Yeah, like this. So then another interesting thing is, so you also have chromatogram view here, or actually the intensity over selected mass traces, basically. And maybe a good example to show how that works is to select a certain feature from the evidence table. Doesn't really matter which one, let's say this one. And then say show and map. Right, then actually, so for this evidence, you get then exactly the region where the feature is. But what you also get is here on this bottom bar, so there are 4 positions marked. Does one see that on the, yeah. So there, you see there are these 4 positions marked. And you can also have vertical lines at these positions. And what you can see here then in this view is, so these are basically the intensity profiles at exactly these mass values that are marked here. And so now the marks are coming from the evidence table so that you are exactly on the isotopic peaks of a certain feature. So here you can, for example, check if things are 100% co-eluting. So for isotope patterns, that should always be the case. But also, if you have heavy light labeling, you could check here easily if the heavy and light version of the peptides are really co-eluting and things like this, right? Okay, so then there is one. Yes, there's a question.
I didn't really get if we are looking at one single map, in the map for one single file, original file, or this is kind of some map for all the files.
Yeah, it's for all the. So now we are looking at one specific file. So the data set actually had 6 LCMS runs. You're always looking at one particular one of these. But you can switch between them. So there is here, this button brings you to the file table, and here you could switch between them. Also, for example, the evidence table, this has actually features for all of the 6 files, right? And then depending on which of the rows you select in the evidence table, it goes, of course, into the correct LCMS run of the 6. So that's actually a good point. You can also look at the map, at one region of the map in all of the 6 files together, and that's what you have in this multi-map view here. So for this, you have to define a window in the main map. So you can do this either with the define window mode, or actually if no window was previously defined, it will just take the view that you currently have. So maybe we zoom out a little bit. So here you can zoom out a little bit. And then we refresh the multi-map view. And what you get then is you get then this same area in the 6 different LCMS runs. So that doesn't really look very nice because we're looking at a very low abundant feature, and due to the lack of retention time alignment, that's probably somewhere else in all of these runs. So maybe we go to a more high abundant feature.
But I'm sorry, is it recalibrated already, time and master charge?
Yeah, one can, so not here, but one can switch between aligned and not aligned data, basically. But so I will show now, but let's maybe first go to a better defined feature, like a more intense feature. So we could just sort them here in the evidence table by intensity. Here. Let's go to the high intensities.